Chairs No Waiting, episode number 477, Southern Sayins. That's right. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you by the folks over at Weaver's Department Store. Drop by over at weaversdepartmentstore.com and check them out. We got some great new shirts. It's summertime. You need an Andy Griffith Show t-shirt, so you get an Andy Griffith t-shirt. How about that? Wear a shirt just Sheriff Taylor. You get a regular t-shirt. You can get a screen printed one that looks just like a real shirt with a belt and everything. Or if you don't want a Sheriff Taylor shirt, get a Floyd's Mayberry Barbershop t-shirt. All those things can be found over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners just like you. The executive producer of episode number 477 is Joanna Bunton. Hey, Joanna, thank you so much for supporting the show. She's one of our patrons over at patreon.com. Thank you. If you'd like to support the show, head over there, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But for now, what we're going to talk about is today's Southern's Sayins. Now, I never really thought about this. Now, most of the folks, I believe, that listen to the podcast and that are big fans of the show, but not all of you, are Southern in some way or the other, or at least you want to be Southern, or at least you like the Southerns, folks. But there's a lot of Southern sayings on the Andy Griffith Show that you may or may not be aware of the actual meaning, because we hear them and we don't really know what they mean. Now, there was a recent article in a online magazine called It's a Southern Thing. That's what it's called. It's a Southern Thing. And they had a series written by, I can't say her name, Kaylee Kazik, K-A-Z-E-K. I'm sure I'm saying her name wrong. But she wrote an article or put together a piece here about Southern phrases from the Andy Griffith Show. So we're going to be going through some of those phrases. Okay, so we're going to be trying to help you and help me try to figure out what those sayings mean. Okay, so that's what we're going to be trying to do. And as a bonus, I'm going to invite you guys that are here in the chat room tonight as we record to help me try to figure out who it is that said these phrases on the show. Now, if I don't get them or if I get them wrong, I'm going to invite every one of you to be able to email me at floyd@imayberry.com and let me know who it really was. Okay, because I'm not sure I actually know these. So I'm going to get a little background music going. Thank you from, this is Freddie Fleet and his band with a beat, I believe. Could be Carl Benson. Either way, we're going to have some fun here with this. All right, guys. So tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking basically information that was directly from that article. It's called Meanings Behind Southern Phrases from the Andy Griffith Show. So let me bring you over here to that. Here we go. All right. So is everybody ready? I'm going to read the phrases, and we're going to try to figure out who said them. Everybody got that? Everybody got it, right? All right. So let's go. Phrase number 1. Ain't we picking our peaches for they're all fuzzed up good? Ain't we picking our peaches for they're all fuzzed up good? Now, for the Northerners, and for folks that may not know, that may live in different parts of the country, if they're not Northern, that actually means you're acting prematurely. Picking our peaches before they're all fuzzed up good means you did something before it was time to do it. Okay? Everybody got that, right? Now, I believe, and the chat room is in there, and they will be helping me figure these out. I'm pretty sure Andy said this. I'm getting a lot of agreement in the chat room. What do you think? As you're listening along, you can make sure you agree. All right, so here, let's go on to the next one. So you guys don't be picking your peaches before they're all fuzzed up good. Okay? All right, here's the next one. Nary a thing. Not going to do, not nary a thing. We're not going to do that. Now, that one I knew who said. I'm pretty sure Andy said that one. Not nary a thing. Now, what that means is not doing anything. You're doing nothing. The response when somebody wants to know what you're doing, I'm not, what you been doing? Not nary a thing. Just sitting here on the front porch, something like that. That's the definition. So when you're watching the show and you hear that, you'll know the answer. Wasn't doing nary a thing, just sitting around waiting. All right, so next up, let's see. This one, it kind of takes the starch out of the whole thing. Okay. What's that mean? Kind of takes the starch out of the whole thing. Well, now I'm not sure who says this. I think it was Andy, but I'm not sure. But it means to deflate, or if you're at it, like when your shirt's all stiff, but then it's broken down. It's taking the starch out of the whole thing. It takes the fun out of an idea. It makes it not as fun. Okay, so not sure who said that, but I think it was Andy. We got some disagreement in the chat room that maybe Barney said it. Could be. Maybe Aunt B. Folks don't know. So that just kind of takes the starch out of the whole thing, don't it, if we don't know who it was? So be listening for that on the episodes as you go out there. Okay, it means to deflate, take the fun out of everything. All right, so now you know the meaning, and now when you hear it, it'll make sense to you. Now Emmett Clark's saying it was Aunt B. He looks very sure it was Aunt B that said it. So okay, Emmett, I'm going with you. Here's the next one. Now this one's got a couple of people said it. Tick-a-lock, tick-a-lock. Now this is usually a combined, with somebody taking their finger and holding it up close to their mouth and twisting it like they're locking their mouth closed, right? You knew that one. Tick-a-lock, right? Maybe even making that noise, click. All right, now that means keep your mouth shut, right? Tick-a-lock. Now we know that one. Now Aunt B said this. I know Aunt B said it. Tick-a-lock. I know she said it. I think Barney may have said it as well, right? Anyway, this means keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything else. Tick, like click makes when the door turns. But it's like turn the door key. Tick-a-lock. Okay? All right, so that's one. Now, I have never used that one. Not nary a thing. Nothing. Nothing is the one I would say probably. Well, you've been doing nothing. I've used a lot of these, but I don't know that I ever actually said tick-a-lock. Unless you were trying to get somebody else to be quiet. Tick-a-lock. You're telling them to be quiet. Now, that's when I've used it. Okay. All right, next up. Let's see. Here's another one. Carrying on. Stop all that carrying on. That kind of thing. Now, what's that mean? Well, that means you're making a fuss or crying or making lots of noise, crying noisily, making noises. You're just carrying on. Stop all that carrying on over there. Now, that can mean making a lot of noise. Like I said, kids just jumping up and down. Boy, stop all that carrying on or I'll come out there, That's when I've heard it. Now, who said that on the show? Probably maybe Aunt B, but my granny said it. I'll tell you that much. Stop that carrying on or I'm going to come over there and, yeah, that's my granny. Yeah. So, all right. So there's that one. Stop just carrying on. They're just carrying on like you wouldn't believe. All right. So that one's what that means. So I figure a lot of you guys knew this or figured it out. And, they're saying in the chat room that that's when maybe Andy, when Opie was pitching a fit there and on the floor, holding his breath and everything when he wanted his allowance to be raised. Remember that one? Yeah. So maybe Andy said that as well. All right. So here's the next one. Folks in the chat room are not quite sure on some of these, so we got to watch some episodes to keep up. Here's the next one. Riled up. Now, that one, I didn't even realize that was a Southern saying. Maybe it isn't. But riled up. You know what that means? If somebody's all riled up, that means they're mad, right? They're angry, upset. Yeah. Don't make me get out of this bed. That carrying on. I hear that's what somebody in the chat room. Yeah. Don't make me get up out of this chair. All that carrying on. Well, this is another one. Don't be riled up. You're getting them all riled up over there. They're going to be up. They're going to come over here and beat you up because you're getting them all riled up, right? Now, that was usually when we would say it was related to doing something to maybe a dog or something or a cat or maybe getting them all worked up. They're all riled up. Now they won't calm down. And they're just carrying on. So a lot of these were used in combination, I do believe. So, some folks in the chat room say they use this one about being riled up. So do you use that one? All right, so next up, let's go to the next one. This one, I don't know that this is a Southern saying. This is Barney, definitely. If you threw a quail through this room, every woman in it would point. Now, that I don't know is a real Southern phrase, but it's a great quote, right? We know Barney said that, dogs, all dogs. If you threw a quail through here, every woman in here would point. But that's a quote. There you go. So maybe that is a Southern thing. Maybe a lot of the people in other places don't know what quails do when you throw a quail through a room. They don't know there's birds are going to point at it and stuff. Maybe that's why it's Southern. Okay. So all right. So that's Barney. He was at Mrs. Wiley's tea party. Okay. Let's see. Did somebody say somebody up north uses these? We use these up north too, according to Goober Fife in the chat room. He's in Ohio, so I guess that's north enough. So, all right. So you use that one? If you flew a quail through here, woman. We don't use that. I've never used that in the South, actually. All right. Let's go to the next one. They must be cutting somebody up pretty good. Now, that one's when Andy's talking about the ladies gossiping, right? Putting people down. Well, look at them over there. They must be cutting somebody up pretty good. That means they're gossiping about somebody, right? Yeah, putting other people down, getting on to them. Yeah, so that one's not too bad. All right, here's our next one. That's the time. Now that's one I have never really used. Now Andy says this. I know that. It means way to go or a good job. Now, if I remember right, I think Andy said it when they were peeling an apple or something like that. Now that's a time. Is that what it was? Like way to go, good job. Not sure. Anyway. All right, so that's a time. That was Andy. A lot of these were Andy, probably because Andy was a Southern guy. Maybe. Well, a lot of these guys were Southern. We had two of them from Alabama. And Barney's from West Virginia, Don Knotts. All right, so let's go to the next one. Much obliged. Now that one, is that a Southern term? Much obliged. I think everybody knows what that means. It means thank you. Thank you very much. You're much obliged. Appreciate what you said. Appreciate it. That kind of thing. That's what that means. Much obliged. Okay. All right, so that's a Southern, I guess that may be a Southern thing. That sounds like an old South type thing, doesn't it? They're saying Andy, they think he said that. I believe them. Next up, I have a great mind to, now it's sometimes said, instead of a great mind to do something, it sometimes said, I got half a mind to go over there, right? Okay, that's what I've heard. I've got a great mind to take your new bicycle back to the store. Now, I would have said, I got a half a mind to go over there and kick that dog if it don't quit barking. Which means I'm really threatening to do it, but I'm not typically going to do it. But I'm annoyed, I'm mad, I'm aggravated at this thing. I got a great mind to go over there and just kick that thing. Tell it to be quiet. Okay, so folks are thinking that one is Andy as well. Oh, did I jump one? I think I moved. Much obliged. There we go. Yep. All right. Let's see. I skipped around. Here we go. Much obliged. So now we're doing the great mind. Next up, you beat everything. You know that. Now, I know who said that. That was Andy. Now, you know what that means, of course. You beat everything. You know that? Well, that means you've never seen anything like that. Said when somebody's behavior has surprised you. You beat everything. What are you thinking is what I think it means. What in the world were you thinking? You beat everything. You know that? Now, Andy said that many times during the show. So that's there's that one. All right, next up, let's go to the next one. Well, law. Now I believe that was Andy too. Well, law, would you look at there? Now that's a expression of understanding, or something dawned on you. It's like, oh, look at that, So it doesn't have to be law. It could be, oh my, would you look at there? So, well, law. And it's said in a sing-song voice like that. Okay, that's how you have to say it. So you can use that if you'd like to. You can use it at work tomorrow when somebody does something that surprises you. Well, law, I can't believe you said that. All right, next up. Tiddly. Tiddly. The word tiddly. Now, it's what's that mean? That means somebody has a snootful. Well, he's a little tiddly. Yep, he's a little snuckered up. He's soused or gassed. So that's what that means. Drunk. That's what it means. They're drunk. Okay. Now they're tiddly. All right. So next up is they lay on my chest. Okay. They lay on my chest. Now what's that mean? That phrase. The saying. Southern saying. What's it? Not much lays on his chest. That's about food. If you're eating food that can't be easily digested, it lays on my chest. You work it off, man. You work it off. So that was said by a couple of people, I believe. Andy said it, I believe. That'll lay on your chest, right? And he said, you work it off, man. You work it off. That's what Barney said back, right? Not much lays on Goober's chest. He can eat pretty much anything. All right, let's go. We got a few more here. Next up, let's see. I keep getting my britches caught on my own pitchfork. Now, that one is pretty self-evident by the conversation that Andy was having at the time. But it means that your words or your rules or something like that, they come back to haunt you. Man, I shouldn't have said that. I just keep getting my own britches. I keep getting my britches caught on my own pitchfork. Right? So it's kind of like sticking your foot in your mouth or something like that as well. So, okay. So that was definitely Andy. Next. This is one I don't remember. I don't remember this. You guys are going to have to help me with this one. It weren't no ordinary rain. It was a frog strangler. Now, I've used the word a frog strangler before, but I'm not remembering this. It's a very heavy rain. It weren't no ordinary rain. It was a frog strangler for sure. Now, I think Gomer said this. I think it was Gomer, because that sounds like something the way Gomer would have talked. It weren't no regular rain. It was a frog strangler. Come right here. Now, I've said a frog strangler before. That means extremely heavy rain. Where it's just coming down. You can't see. You have to stop the car because you're driving. Doesn't even matter. Okay. Now, some of the folks are saying they think it may have been Ernest T. Bassett said that. Now, that could be. That sounds good. I was right there, isn't it? But I was thinking it could be Gomer. So I don't know. So you guys listen for that. Let's find that one. It weren't no ordinary rain. It was a frog strangler. All right. Next up. That's as funny as a crutch. Okay. So that means it's not funny at all. Somebody uses a crutch because they're injured or something like that, which is not something to be laughed at. So that means that's as funny as a crutch. If somebody says something you don't like that they think's funny, and it wasn't to you, okay, so that's funny as a crutch. Why don't you go down to the old folks' home and take the bolts out of the wheelchairs? That'd be funny too. All right, next up. Let's see. A rip snorter. Well, that's a rip snorter. So that means a good time. The party was a real rip snorter. I don't know where that term came from, but that's what it means. So if you're having a real rip snorter, that means you're having a good time. It was a great party, a lot of fun at that party, a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so you got that. Next up. Don't that just clutch you? Don't that just clutch you? It's clutch ya, right? So that means just tears at your heartstrings. Man, that just clutches you, doesn't it? That just hurts. Now, I'm not sure who said that one. Could have been Andy. Could be. But it means tear at your heartstrings or get your emotions going. Don't that just clutch you? Okay, so you guys be watching episodes now and see if you hear these phrases. All right, next up. Oh, this cider's turned hard. So that That means that the juice that it's turned to alcohol. It's turned hard. I believe this cider's turned hard. Yeah. So I don't remember who said that. Andy maybe. But there's one. That's similar to the mayor saying, "Don't they ever clean this crock?" Because it was all yucky flavor there. So this cider's turned hard. All right, so who says it? The folks in the chat room are going back. They said Lydia in the chat room says this all the time. So they're all saying Andy says it. Okay, so we'll move along from there. Like mulberry squeezins. They're just mulberry squeezins. Next up, I don't chew my cabbage twice. Well, I know who says that one. Okay, I don't chew my cabbage twice. Now, what that means, if you didn't understand what that meant when Ernest T said it, it says if you didn't hear me the first time, I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm only going to say it one time. Okay? Yeah. I don't chew my cabbage twice, and you ain't heard the last of Ernest T. Bass. All right, we got one more. So here we go. Here's the last one. Well, if it ain't Daddy Longlegs. Okay? If it ain't Daddy Longlegs, that means, well, look who's here. Look what the cat drug in. Was that another one? Is that another Southern? Look what the cat drug in. Look, well, if it ain't Daddy Longlegs making it in. I believe that Barney may have said that one. Not sure. It may have been Barney. Not sure. Anyway, look here. Well, all right. So that's looks who's here, or look who the cat, or what the cat drug in, or something like that. Okay. All right. So, folks, we're going to have a link to these. All these questions are going to be a link out on the show notes. It is from a article that is online, and you can definitely go over there and reread them and check them out. It's a website called It's a Southern Thing, and it's southernthing.com. And it's the link will be in the show note, but it's the meaning behind Southern phrases of the Andy Griffith Show. All right. So I want to thank them for letting us use those. Those are awesome. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'd like to hear from you as to which episode you think those were on, because I don't remember a lot of them. A lot of them were difficult for me to remember. Now, I didn't have any trouble interpreting what all those phrases meant, but it was pretty neat. All right, guys, we have got a special report from roving reporter Randy Turner. Let's go hear it. Take it away, Randy.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Cooper Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
Bernard Fox was born on May the 11th, 1927 in Wales, as his parents, who were also actors, were performing there at the time. But he was raised in England, as he mentioned in the 1998 interview Alan provided us with just a few weeks ago. To the general public, Bernard is best remembered as Dr. Bombay, a recurring character in Bewitched. But his performance as another recurring character in the Andy Griffith Show is as fondly remembered. A fifth-generation actor, Bernard was involved in theater from a young age and was apprenticing in theater management by the age of 14. During World War II, he served in the Royal Navy and then settled in London after his discharge. Beginning in 1952, Bernard performed in the ensemble of one of the long-running series of comic plays called the Whitehall Farces. He made his television debut in 1955 in Sixpenny Corner, the first serial ever shown on independent television in the United Kingdom. The series was about a young married couple running a garage, with Bernard appearing as the younger brother of the male lead. Over the next 6 years, Bernard acted in films during the day in the London area and did live theater in the evenings. In 1957, writers Harvey Bullock and Ray Safian Allen met Bernard while they were in England working on an American CBS series called Dick and the Duchess. It was a meeting that would eventually lead Bernard to Mayberry. At the time, though, Bernard continued to be a busy actor in the UK. He played a character named Frederick Fleet, whose nickname had to be Freddie, right? In the 1958 film A Night to Remember, about the sinking of the Titanic. In 1961, he starred in a series called 3 Live Wires. The British series was produced by Ray Saffian Allen, who convinced him to come to the United States to act. Bernard moved to Los Angeles in 1962, where he immediately became part of the international cast of The Longest Day, a war movie about D-Day starring John Wayne. That same year, he was introduced as the recurring character Alfie Wingate on The Danny Thomas Show, which less than 2 years earlier had served as the springboard for The Andy Griffith Show. All 4 of Bernard's appearances in The Danny Thomas Show were written by Harvey Bullock and Ray Saffian Allen, who also wrote for The Andy Griffith Show. They thought an Englishman visiting Mayberry would make a good story, and thus Malcolm Merriweather came to town. Bernard played Malcolm in 2 black and white episodes, and returned for a color episode opposite another popular recurring character in Mayberry, Ernest T. Bass. Bernard also guest starred on other Sheldon Leonard series, including 3 different roles on The Dick Van Dyke Show. He appeared in many series, from Perry Mason to F Troop to The Monkees. But in addition to his work as Malcolm, he is best remembered as 2 other recurring characters. First and foremost is his role as Dr. Bombay on Bewitched, which he appeared in 19 times between 1966 and 1972. He also was popular as Colonel Crittenden in his 8 appearances in Hogan's Heroes between 1965 and 1970. As an homage to his Bewitched character, he played Dr. Bombay in 2 episodes of the soap opera Passions in 1999 and 2000. He had actually reprised his original character in Tabitha, the 1970s series about the grown-up child of Samantha and Darren from Bewitched. He had also played Dr. Jinga Janga, a wish doctor, in Pee-wee's Playhouse in 1989. Toward the end of his career, after playing Frederick Fleet in the Titanic movie A Night to Remember in 1958, he appeared as Colonel Archibald Gracie in James Cameron's 1997 blockbuster Titanic. After Bernard retired in 2004, he remained in California, where he lived until his death in 2016. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening, and remember to take Andy's advice and go out there and act like somebody.
Thank you, Randy. Wow, and Randy does a report, not only this one, but he does a report over at the Gomer and Goober Pile Comic Book Literary Guild called Mayberry Firsts, is what he's been doing. You can make sure you don't miss one by going to turnersgrade@gmail.com and email him, and then he'll make sure you get an email every time he puts out a new one. turnersgrade@gmail.com. Folks, I want to thank you for being here with me. It's always great to be in Mayberry with you. I hope you enjoyed what we did earlier. Head over to Weaver's and pick up some stuff. Now, if you don't want Weaver's stuff, I've got some other stuff for you that I want to mention. Since you're still here, that means you like the show and you may stick around. Here's some shirts we have from, it's called T Public is the name of the site. You can get T-shirts, and yet there's all kinds of other shirts, long sleeve T-shirts, baseball shirts, all kinds of stuff. Little, small shirts for children. There's things for your phone. There's a pillow, a tapestry. There's all kinds of different stuff. But there's lots of T-shirts, sweatshirts, things like that as well. So if you'd like to wear some Two Chairs No Waiting merchandise right there on yourself, head over to the Two Chairs No Waiting website. Look at our show notes, and you will see a link for, it's called merchandise is what it's called. It's Two Chairs No Waiting merchandise, and it's at tpublic.com. All right, guys. Hey, I want to thank you for being here with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I do every week. Just spending some time with you here in Mayberry. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you know which episode some of those things came from. You can email me, or you can go, better yet, once the show notes are out, head over to Two Chairs No Waiting, look for episode number 477, and put the information in the show there in the comments section. That'd be great, because then it would be connected to the episode. Folks would be able to see it when they go there and look. That'd be a great place for this kind of information. So if you find out where the phrases were made, go there and do it. But you can email me at floyd@imayberry.com. You can call me at 888-684-8415. I would love to hear from you. Folks, have a great Mayberry week, and we'll see you next time right here on Two Chairs.